This is Candy with eyes2jesus.blogspot.com, and here we are in the year 2020. 2020, I never really envisioned it as a child very much, but here I am, I'm in 2020, I'm in my 40s. I never really envisioned any of that, so what a wild ride. So anyways, welcome to 2020. 2020's started off pretty good for me so far, and I hope it has for you too. So this is my current 2020 setup, or at least for the month of January 2020. So what plan am I currently in? Well, for the last 2 months of 2019, I was in a standard size traveler's notebook. I really loved how it worked, how it fit in my hand. I didn't love how it fit in my purse because I was trying to downsize my purse, and I'm currently in the smallest purse I've been in since I've had kids. I'm giving it a try to see what I think of it, and my standard size traveler's notebook would fit in there, but it would take wrangling, and I wanted to be able to just put in and take out my planner quickly when I'm out and about and not have to stop and find a counter or a table to try to wrangle things in or out of my purse. So I am back into my typical go-to, which always works for me, which always gives my planner peace, and that is personal size rings. And I am still probably going to be using traveler's notebooks as projects planners, maybe for journaling, but it's off and on, nothing major. My main one book and my one planner is going to be back in personal size rings. And I am starting off 2020 in this beauty. This is a personal size Moterm planner from Amazon in the color pink. And I love it. I've had this for a while. I've done an unboxing video on it. I think I have 4 or 5 personal size Moterm planners. I'm glad I got one of the Croco ones because I haven't seen those available anymore for a while. I hope Moterm will bring those back as well. But I love pink planners, and I'm in a pink planner kind of mood. So I am in a personal Moterm pink, and it is pretty. Now, in my last video where I showed this pink planner viewed several months ago, it kept on showing up more reddish or maybe even purplish. Hopefully that's not the case here. Here's my phone case. It's a bit of a lighter pink. So the Moterm is kind of a rich pink, but it's not at all fuchsia-y or purpley. It is a pink, but it's a darker pink, and I really like that. So, like my usual lately, my everything is in here. This planner is literally with me everywhere, including next to me when I sleep. It is with me when I'm out and about. It is whatever room I am in at home when I am working on things, it is next to me. And it is just habit to have it with me. And how do I remember to check it? Well, one, I always have it open to whatever section I'm at the time that I need: homeschool, recipes, budgeting if I'm working on bills, my master schedule / master to-do list, etc. And for appointments, I actually set alarms on my watch to remind me to check my planner for things where I'm afraid I might not check my planner on time. And my watch is not a smartwatch, it's a dome watch. It is a Timex Expedition. I've been wearing Timex Expedition watches, I don't know, 10 years, probably more. I can't find them anymore. I don't know if it's just the stores I'm going to or not. So when this one's battery went out, the band also broke, and we couldn't find any replacements. So we actually grabbed a band off of an old Casio watch that I have and stuck that on this when we got the new battery put in, and I'm good to go. So let's get into this planner tour. I love this. This is, in my opinion, the 2 most perfect personal size planners are the Moterm personal size planners and the Filofax Maldens. And I'm probably going to be bouncing largely between the Moterms and the Filofax Maldens. Alright, so going inside, in the front zipper pocket, well, I keep my wallet in this planner, so I just keep some change in there. And then in this little front pocket here, I just have a little decorative component. This is not really necessarily functional. And then in this secretarial pocket here, I have a menu from a restaurant, a take-up menu from a restaurant I want to try. And then behind that, I have a bit of spending cash. All right, and then my front page kind of triples as a front page lifter, as a welcome page, and as a dashboard. This is a trimmed down Happy Planner cover, so it's nice and thick, so it works great as a front page protector. And it's from the one that says you are exactly where you need to be today, and I love that. So that's what it is on the front. And then if I turn that page, on the other side, I just have some sticky notes. Right now I just have some blog ideas and article ideas that are just someday when I get around to it type of things I will be writing. And then after that I have a laminated sheet of some pretty scrapbook paper, and on that scrapbook paper I have our current family photo, which was taken this past Thanksgiving. And then on the other side of that is a current couples photo of my awesome husband and I. This picture was also taken this previous November for our 22nd wedding anniversary. And then these pages here are just several sheets, and these are Monticello, Franklin Covey Compact Monticello note sheets. Note pages, and they're a bit wider than personal size, so I just trimmed them to personal size and repunched them because I really like the line width of these. And this is just where I keep running a grocery list. When I run low on something or out of something, or it's something that I want to get at the store when I'm at the grocery store next, I write it down here. And then once a week, the day before I plan to get groceries, I will go over this list. I will go over my menu plan for that week, and I'll take a look at my master grocery list, and I use all of those as tools to help me compile a grocery list that I'll write roughly in the order of the aisles at the store of which I shop. Alright, so after those, we come to my dividers. I have 5 main dividers, and I just wasn't really up for making dividers, and so I just went through my planner stash, and I still had a few sets of half sheet size dividers from the Target Dollar Spot when they were doing the awesome planner stuff, when they were at the pinnacle of the Dollar Spot awesome planner stuff. You remember that? They had the really good sticky notes, the fabulous flags. They had the nice cardboard-like dividers that were pretty, and of course the planning pages. And these were for half letter size planners. I've seen some planner stuff there, but I haven't seen anything very great there for the past year or two. Well, anyways, I found, wow, in my planner stash, I still had an unopened package of some of those Target Dollar Spot dividers. So I just trimmed them down to personal size, repunched them, stuck on some labels that I had in my stash to label them, and these are my current dividers. So my first divider looks like this. And I just have 2 pretty binder clips on there, and I slid a pen on it. This is my secondary pen, not my main pen. My main pen is in the pen loop. And this is just a ballpoint pen, a Staples ballpoint pen, and I really like the pen body, and it writes okay. And this is like, mainly it's like my check writing pen or document filling pen, etc. Or if I need a really, really thin ink, then this is my go-to. All right, and then this divider is labeled home, because this is the divider for my homemaking section. So going inside here, I have a little note to myself on the inside of the divider, which is just a list of hairstyles. I do simple hairstyles. Today's hairstyle is I just have my sides of my hair back in a barrette. And I just rotate through that list of simple hairstyles because I've never known what to do with my hair. So years ago, I just made a list of simple hairstyles that I like and that are easy and quick. And so for years now, I've just been rotating through this list, and I still am. It still works for me. Okay, and then my first main page in this section is my daily chores. It's almost all cleaning chores, but there is some budgeting, office, and grocery and errand things listed in here too. So these are my daily chores for each day of the week. And then on the other side of that are my children's cleaning chores. And then this facing page, I just pen wrote it. It's my children's paid chores tracker because they've been wanting to earn some more spending money. So I have a paid chores tracker there, and then after that I have a little paid chores envelope where when they've earned some money from chores, I'll stick it in here, and then they have every Friday is their payday, so then they'll get paid for the money I've saved back in here for their paid chores that they have done for that week. Alright, and then after that is my children's table chores for helping to clean up after each meal. Alright, and then after that I have my deep cleaning projects, my organization projects list, and this is a fresh, brand new made list. And then after that, facing that is my master grocery list. And I have a little flag sticking up off the top. Then that's because if I grab that flag and turn the page, it brings me to my menu for the week. And each week, the same day that I make my grocery list, well, before I make my grocery list, I make my menu plan for the up and coming week. And I plan our breakfast, lunches, and suppers. I plan their main dishes, including their side dishes and sometimes their drinks. And then I just write it down here. All right, so after that, I have a list of breakfast ideas and a list of lunch ideas and supper ideas continues on the next page. And these meal ideas also contain suggested sides to go with those main dishes. And I reference these to help me when I'm making my menu plan each week, but they're also handy if I need to change up a meal or something spontaneous happens or whatever, I messed up on my grocery list, I don't have an ingredient, I can't make the planned meal. These are here for me. Okay, after that, I just have a page as I have written down our typical Thanksgiving and New Year's menus. And then on the other side of that is a table of contents, and that is to my recipe section, which starts here. I have a little side flag here so that when I want to turn to a recipe in my planner, I just flip open to my home divider, I grab this little side flag, and I turn right to my recipes. And my recipe pages are numbered. Now, my table of contents is just for sections. I have this divided off into sections, and these are sections that work with my mind. So my sections are quick go-tos, breads and breakfasts, main meals, sides, baking, and special. So then when I need a recipe, I look at my table of contents to see what section it's going to be in. I turn to that section, and then I just flip through the pages in that section. I've talked about for years putting these in alphabetical order. I still haven't. I'm used to the order it's in already, so I haven't really bothered doing anything about that. And anyways, recipes finish the rest of my homemaking section, which brings us to my next divider, which is labeled school. And this is my homeschool section. I am a homeschooling mother of 4, and my oldest is an adult, and he was homeschooled all the way through. My other 3 are being homeschooled all the way through as well. We are currently schooling with my 3 still in homeschool. They are currently doing grades 12, 10, and 8. So yes, I have another one that will be graduating this year. So yeah, this is my homeschool section, and the inside of the cover, I just have a pretty sticky note. It's an old Target dollar spot sticky note, and it just has the name of our homeschool. And then my first page in this section is our homeschool schedule. And we homeschool Monday through Thursday, year-round, but we usually take the month of July off. And sometimes we will do light homeschool or catch-up homeschool on Fridays when or if needed. So this is my homeschool schedule. I have a when column, so when we're doing what. I'm going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And instead of when column being times, it's more of what we're doing when. So like before breakfast, on Monday through Thursday, that's when they do their silent Bible reading. During breakfast, we do our morning devotional. We also do an evening devotional during supper. And then right after breakfast is when we will get into, so I have 4 separate columns from Monday through Thursday, our morning school. And then we have all these, and then we have afternoon school here. So it's my schedule for homeschool. And then after that, we come to my homeschool course of study, also known as a curriculum chart. Here's page 1 of that. And this spans 3 pages. And my 3 columns on this are subjects, when, and books/info. So subjects are the subjects I am teaching this year. And then when is, well, what days? For example, Bible and math, they're daily. So they're Monday through Thursday. But grammar, writing, and spelling, they're Mondays and Wednesdays, for example. And then that will alternate with Latin, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then under my books and info section, that just lists which books are being used with which kid. Some of my subjects, we're all in the same book. And then some of the subjects, especially with grammar and math, they each have their individual grade level books. And then there's also any other info, would be any other notes to myself, like how many lessons or how many pages per book, etc. All right, and so my course of study/curriculum chart continues here. Like I said, it's 3 pages long, and I have it in a fairly small font because I didn't want it taking up a whole bunch of room. All right, and then the next few pages after that are current copywork assignments. And by the way, I homeschool my children via the Trivium method. Always have, always will. The Trivium method works well with my teaching style, and it works well with my children's learning style, and the Trivium method goes with the stages of brain development in a developing brain. All right, after that, I have our 2020 reading list. These will span beyond 2020 because a lot of the books in here are really, really thick with tiny writing. After all, I've got 1 junior high and 2 in high school, so these reading lists will actually take them through the rest of homeschool. All right, and then I just have some note paper if I need to write in any notes. So this brings me to my next section, which is labeled Budget. And I just have a little magnetic bookmark right here because sometimes I need to clip some pages together or clip in a receipt or a note in my budget section. On the inside cover of my budget divider, I have some sticky notes on there, and they're just notes on our current budgeting envelopes, how much money we're budgeting for what our goals are, etc. And I keep them on sticky notes on the inside cover because these things change with seasons, with years, with life, with situations. All right, and then my first official page in my budget section is what I call my budget guide. And this just lists which reoccurring expenses and bills occur on which paychecks during the month. And so I reference this when I do our budget each week to see what bills or expenses are coming up on that current paycheck. So after that, I just have several sheets of filler paper in here. Currently, it's just more of that Monticello, Franklin Covey Monticello filler paper. And I just write the date of the current check or the future check because I do budget ahead as well. On the top of the page, I look at my budget guide. I write down the reoccurring expenses that are already assigned to that check. And then I turn to my monthly calendars. I look at what's coming up during that week that it's going to be an extra expense. Do we have dentist appointments coming up? Do we have birthday parties coming up? Are we doing a weekend getaway, etc.? And then that will be added to my list as well. So then I run through the budget. I see, okay, these are all the bills and expenses we need to pay. This is how much we have left over. So now I want to take some of these leftovers and assign some to savings and some for giving, etc. And so my budget section is very simple. All right, and then I'm going to move to my next section, which is labeled Notes. And this is my full and complete notebook. So going inside Notes, the very first page in here is my table of contents. And all the way up until this little top flag I have sticking out, I have a yellow flag sticking out of the top. All the way up to that flag, the pages in here are numbered. And then this table of contents is my reference to those numbered pages. So this is similar to when a lot of people used to put the ABC dividers in their ring planners, and then they would just file whatever or anything behind each of those. This is like that, but it takes up less room in my planner, and I'd have several letters if I did the ABC files that would have nothing behind it anyways. So this is just where I keep, things like gift ideas, a perpetual calendar, family information. I also have phone numbers and addresses of close friends and family members in here, etc. I have tracking as well, project tracking. So it's just anything that I want to regularly keep in reference, any other type of lists, anything that doesn't fit in any of my other sections goes in here. If it's something I use regularly, it gets a page number and written in on my table of contents. All right, and then in the middle of all that, I have a red flag sticking to the side, and that actually is referencing one of the pages within this section of my notes that I reference often enough as to where instead of just turning to that page for my table of contents, I reference it often enough, I just stuck a flag sticking out on the side so that I can just flip right to it. All right, and then moving to that yellow flag that I mentioned that's on the top of the sheet, that goes to actually my project tracker because that's another one I turn to a lot. And then right after my project tracker, we get into my brain dump / scratch paper. So I have some current notes on here on some school things that I'm doing with the kids, I have lists of outings and places we want to go to. I have lists of meals that I like to cook and make and bring to potlucks. I even have some notes on different frequencies and how many hertz have been found to obliterate cancer cells, etc. Like I said, it's a brain dump. I have some notes here that I took last night about Planck's constant, aka H bar. And then I have a whole bunch, just a mix of different types of blank pages in here. Right now it's mostly a mix of Franklin Covey and Filofax, personal size blank pages in here. And these are for if I need more pages for brain dump, if I need more pages to put up front for my groceries, more pages for budget, more pages for homeschool, anything like that. Alright, so then this brings me to my last main divider, which is labeled planning. And this is the actual planner portion of my planner. And on the inside of that divider, I have a chart. It's an MBTI cognitive stack chart. And I don't reference it much anymore because I've pretty much got it memorized. But if I have a brain hiccup and I don't remember something and I want to look it up, or if I'm explaining MBTI and cognitive functions to someone else, this chart comes in handy. So it stays here on the inside of this cover. And this is something that I printed off sometime last year from, I don't know, Google search. Okay, and then we come to my title page for the planning pages that I'm currently using, which are Franklin Covey Monticello. And this is a nice cardstock page. As you can see, I didn't fill it out. I never do. I keep it in here because the other side is year at a glance for 2020 and 2021. And I do like to have a year at a glance. I rarely ever use them, but I still like to have them in my planner. And so I have the whole year of 2020 in here for my month on 2-page calendars, my monthly calendars. And as you have probably deduced by now, I am currently using Franklin Covey Monticello. I'm using their compact size. Their compact size is wider than personal, a bit wider than the Michael's Personal Recollections and the Hobby Lobby's Personal Agenda 52, but not as wide as personal wide. I like to keep my pages more standard personal size, like the Filofax personal size, which is the same as a daytime reportable size. So I just took all of the months, only took a few minutes. I just trimmed them down to personal size and re-punched them. Now, if you want them wider and you don't mind it messing with your pen loops and possibly sticking out a bit, then you can keep it at the regular Franklin Covey compact size. I've especially seen lately some Filofax Maldens where people aren't trimming down the Franklin Covey compact size, but that they like the look of the tab sticking out a bit. You just have to get a bit creative with the pen loop. But yeah, I've been trimming them down to personal size. The ring holes are the exact same, so if you don't want to trim it down, you can just stick it right in. It goes right in the rings. You only have to re-punch them if you're trimming them more narrow like me, like I am doing. So, of course, we are in January. Here is my current January month on 2 pages. Let me see if I can just find a blank one. Here's one that's almost blank so you can see what they look like. So this gives me plenty of room to write, which is nice. And then I flip to my Today page finder or bookmark. And I am currently also doing Monticello for my daily planning. And this year I'm trying to bring it down to 1 page per day as opposed to how I usually been doing 2 pages per day. And I am so far making it work. I'm not sure if I want to stay in the Monticello or if I'm just going to do a blank sheet of paper and do my own thing like I was in the Traveler's Notebooks for the past few months. Right now I'm still playing around with the Monticello and I like it. I like the crisp blue and white of the Monticello. I got tired of the Franklin Covey Blooms and the Franklin Covey Seasons, and I really didn't want their just standard generic one, so that's why I went for Monticello for 2020. So here is Today, and then my page marker is just some generic page marker I got off of Amazon. I wanted one that was clear and that had inches and centimeters. And then this is really cool. This gets moved from day to day. I'm going to take this out of my planner so I can show it to you better. This is fun. So this is my master schedule / my master to-do list. Alright, and I have it the same on both sides because since I'm doing day on 1 page, I alternate sides. So I have the same schedule on both sides. But this is my schedule for my typical standard homeschool days on both sides. What about, for example, the month of July when, as long as we finish up our homeschool, we take that month off? Or what about the weekends and Fridays when we're not doing homeschool? Well, I flip it around, and now on both sides are my non-homeschool schedules and routines. So I'm just going to flip this back around to my homeschool one because this is a homeschool day. And I'll just pop that back into my rings. So I just made it. I printed out my schedules, 2 for my school days and then 2 for non-school days. I put them on some pretty scrapbook paper. I laminated them. And I don't have a bone folder, so I can't get a really good crease in the laminate paper. So I actually made these individually separate, and then I just did some clear tape and taped them together. And then after I taped them together, I ran it through the laminator again, and it smoothed out the clear tape and made it just about invisible. And then I just punched these with my favorite crocodile punch I've been using for years, and then just cut slits into the hole so that they pop in and out of the rings, just like my page finder does. All right, and yeah, I've been really enjoying this system. It's working good. Let me flip ahead a little bit and show you what a blank Dan blank Dan 1 page looks like from Franklin Covey Monticello. So up here, I consider this kind of wasted space, so I've actually been using it. Up here, what I'm trying right now is I write down, and I write small, I write down our planned meals for the day, my cleaning chores, and the children's cleaning chores, and I'll write here on the top too if I need more room. And then this is where you do your prioritize daily tasks and to-do lists. And then this is your appointment schedule. If I'm on a different schedule for the day because we have different things going on, then I'll write out my whole schedule here. Otherwise, I just write out when my routines are, when I have the meals planned, and then I circle any times and write out in those anything that's time specific or an appointment. And then down here is for notes. I do my tracking down here, and when I food journal, I do my food journaling down here as well. So these are really handy. And then I keep a whole month at a time of these day and 1 pages in here. So I have all of January in here right now. So when we come to the end of January, I will take these out and then put in all the ones for February. And I have also trimmed these down to personal size as well. Since they're trimmed down to personal size, you'll see on this page, the holes do go into the lines at the end of the appointment schedule. Never gets in my way. On this side, on this page, the holes do go in a little bit on the edge of the task or the to-do list. Has not been getting in my way. If you don't want the holes to go into the pages, if you don't trim the pages more narrow, the holes don't go into the lines. I should say lines, not pages. They won't go into the lines at all. Okay, so moving past all of that, after all my planning stuff, I have a sheet of paper. It says a sheet of Filofax filler paper. And at the top, I have it labeled Future Planning 2021 Plus. And I've already got a few things written on that, so I'm going to flip past that. All right, and then after that, I have a section of top-loading pockets, and it's being hugged by wallpaper on both sides. And this is real wallpaper. It's crafting wallpaper by Tim Holtz. And I love this stuff. It's got a fabulous texture. It looks pretty cool. And so the top-loading pockets between these 2 sheets of wallpaper are my budgeting envelopes. So I have groceries, clothes, health, cars, house, birthdays and holidays, and extra. And then after that, we come to my back page lifter. I am not using a Franklin Covey back page lifter. I think this is a generic one. There is no brand on this. This was just for my planner stash. The reason I'm not using a Franklin Covey back page lifter is because they're a bit wider and it can interfere with my pen loop, so I'm using a more narrow one. All right, and then on the front of that back page lifter, I have some extra flags for if I need to flag some other pages in my planner. And then I have several little labels or flags that have things written on them that are reoccurring events that I will just stick onto my master schedule in the appropriate time slot when needed. So that's the inside of my back page lifter. And on the other side of that, I just have one tiny strip of extra washi tape at the moment, and that's it. Okay, now we come to my back pocket. So in my pen loop, I have my pen that I almost always use exclusively. So this is the Pilot Precise V5 pen in the color black with a 0.5 needle tip. I love these, so I stock up on them. And then you see we got a paper clip sticking out of here and clipping something to the inside of this back secretarial pocket. That's just to keep things more secure. That's got clipped in there postage stamps, a few blank checks in case you need to write a blank check to something. Oh yeah, and then a plastic envelope that has my cards that I like to keep with me but that I rarely ever need to use. And then the cards that I use the most often are in these handy card slots here in the back cover. I had them covered up with journaling cards for anonymity reasons. And then in the back card slot, I just have some Avery dots, Avery labels, and hole reinforcement stickers stuck in there, down there. And then also in this secretarial pocket, besides the items I mentioned that are clipped in the back, behind that sitting in the pocket, I have a folded piece of paper. I don't remember what it's for. I think it's a receipt. And then one of my favorite things about these Moterm planners, this Moterm personal planner, has a large back pocket. So even though this is a personal size planner, I can take a letter size sheet of paper, fold it in half once, and it fits right in there. So what I have in here currently is actually several sheets of letter size paper folded in half that I have here for referencing. I have 3 or 4 bills in here that I will be paying soon. I just took them right out of the envelope and stuck them in there. And then on the side I have a little stack of more filler paper so that when I run out of filler paper in the back of my notes section, then I can grab the filler paper from here, put that in here, and then I'll just stick in more extra filler paper here in the back. And that is a somewhat detailed tour of my planner. It has everything in it. It's got my wallet, it's got my full budgeting system, it's got my full my homemaking or home management binders contained in here, and it's got my full planner, and I love it. If you have considered getting a Moterm personal planner or you're on the fence, I could just only say go for it. It is at a fraction of the price of the Giglio Campagnas, which is what these are basically a knockoff of. And the leather is amazing. This is an unstructured planner, so if you want structure, don't go for it. I like unstructured, like the Filofax Maldens are also unstructured. It's a nice pebbled leather. It is a high quality, genuine leather. Smells pretty dang nice. It might need to air out when you get it. None of mine have had very strong smells when I've gotten them. And it is very, very good quality. Furthermore, the rings are removable and replaceable. They're held in there with screws. I have one of these that's held in there with Phillips screws, and then this one and all the rest, they're just held in there with this, your typical flathead screwdriver type of screws. And they do sell replacement rings, by the way. So, yeah, in my opinion, these personal size Moterms and Filofax Maldens are the absolute best of personal planners. And third place would be the Daytimer Malibus, but unfortunately those are no longer being made and they're hard to find. So that concludes my January 2020 planner tour. Have a blessed day.